welcome back. How you guys doing? Yes, a new episode of Real Talk with GodOfKnockers. And yeah, I know it's a day late, but, adulting happened, technical issues, and some documentation had to be filed and sent off to my hard drive, and then to emails. I have a lot of emails. Jesus. But anyway, let's move on to the subject at hand. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about Robert Kraft, or as he's more commonly known as Bob Kraft, or as some of you may know him, as the incredibly rich multi-billionaire idiot who got caught having a threesome in a day spa in a strip mall in Florida. I feel bad for everybody all around in this, okay? And as I'm sure you guys know, I'm a Patriots fan. I know, in before the jokes. But, this whole Bob Kraft issue really just pisses me right the fuck off. Okay? It really does. Because it pissed me off for two reasons. The first reason, of course, is human sex trafficking. Ever since Congress passed that ridiculous law that they passed, it's made it even harder to crack down on this shit. How long has this day spa been operating? I don't know. I've tried to look into it, but I haven't had much time. The fact that you had these women who didn't speak a lick of English, who barely spoke English at all, living in this building, this structure, in a strip mall, and they were basically sleeping on the massage mats, the massage tables, and had hot plates. They're basically living there. It reminds me so much of what happened similar here, like over a decade ago. It's crazy shit. And it's just, it was plain obvious when it happened here. Okay, the fact that you have people who are just knowingly and willingly going to places like this and are completely oblivious to the fact, not just that it's illegal, for one, but that all the dead signs, the dead giveaways that this might be an illicit place, that you probably shouldn't be here, were right there, and they just completely ignored it. There's over 100 people that got busted in this thing, Kraft being one of them, and there's this other popular hedge fund manager that I know of. I forget his name, but he got caught in this too. And Kraft's attorney said, we categorically deny that he did this and that he's innocent and it will be proven. And the feds come up and it's like, well, you can do that all you want, but we got a video of him accepting sexual favors from 2 women. And when it was done, he allegedly paid them $100 each. I mean, what are you doing? The balls is this? The first dead giveaway is a day spa in a janky strip mall. Okay, there are strip malls where I'm at. There's quite a number of them here. We had at least one place here, like a half mile up the road. It was called Lily's Health. And it was back in like the late 1990s, early 2000s, I want to say. And it was just, they called it a vitamin bar, which there is no such thing. That makes zero fucking sense. You never saw people go in during the daytime. You never did. And they never really advertised anywhere. There was just like this one place and the windows were tinted and it was black. And it was just empty. It was mainly devoid. But yet the parking garage, the parking lot, that was flush with people. It's like the place seemed empty and vacant, like it wasn't even open, but yet you had cars everywhere. But you never saw anyone coming out of the establishment or going into it. It turns out that's because it was a brothel. A genuine brothel. They had women, just like before, Asian women in there, living in there, dressed in lingerie. How do I know this? It aired on my local news. That's a sight that you want to see. It's 12 o'clock, you're just getting started on your breakfast, or maybe you're finishing up. You're about to move on with the rest of your day and carry on as usual, and you happen to see some scantily clad Asian women in skimpy lingerie, sometimes a one-piece, sometimes a two-piece, and high heels. And they're scrambling to try and cover themselves up and figure out what the fuck's going on, because the place just got raided. The place just got raided. That's what I'm reminded of when I see about this day spa. First thing that got me was the title. Okay? I don't remember the title, something about Oriental Sun something day spa. Don't remember the actual title, but it sounds cheap as fuck. It's a dead giveaway that's just, no. That's the first thing. Second thing, like I said before, A day spa in a fucking strip mall. I have never been to a day spa, never been to a brothel, have no intention of going to a brothel. Might go to a legitimate day spa one day, but I'm pretty sure that those two things just don't mesh. Day spa and a strip mall, please. Come on. I can see pedicures and manicures. I can see a hair salon. I can see a Victoria's Secret being there, or maybe some place that sells off cheap knockoff lingerie that might have frayed edges or some shit. I don't know. I can probably see a Cinnabon there. But a day spa? Really? Come on, man. That's the dead giveaway for one. Second, no one spoke a fucking lick of English. It's like some of the employees spoke, but the rest of them, no one said anything. No one said a goddamn thing. Come on. It's a dead giveaway. It is so dead. It's pretty obvious this is a place you should not be doing this. If I was in Florida and I saw a place like this, I'd be like, oh, yep, that's a brothel. Yep. I don't see a lot of people going in. Place says it's open, but it's in the middle of this janky strip mall. No, I'm sorry. That's a hard pass. I just need my back massaged. I don't need the nether regions work done. That ain't a thing that happens. No. It's the stupidity of it. The fact that he was completely oblivious to what was actually going on, and the fact that he was stupid enough to do something like this. Which brings me to the devil's advocate portion of this podcast. Why would you go cheap? Okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, I have never once paid for sex. I have no intention of paying for it. It's not my style. Don't really need to do that. But there are people who do. And I don't judge them. That's fine. If that's what works for them, that's what works for them. But you have to remember, the good shit don't come cheap. It goes to a saying that I used to state a lot back in the early 2000s. If you're going to do something wrong, do it right. Okay? If you're going to go and seek sexual favors from someone and it's going to cost money, first thing you should understand, it's not going to be cheap. Second, there are actual places that this idiot could have gone to where he could have did that and nobody would have cared. There's brothels, legit brothels in Nevada. Moonlight Bunny Ranch, you ever heard of that one? It's the world famous. Everyone in the fucking world knows this. World motherfucking famous. He could have gone there. Nobody would have blamed him. He just won, his team, the Patriots, they just won the Super Bowl. He felt like celebrating. He wants to go to Nevada. It's like, I'm going to the brothel. And then he plugs down some cash and a shit ton of money, and he just has to go with it. He can do whatever the fuck he wants there. The girls are clean. They check for STDs. They use protection. And he could have did what he wanted there. Would anyone have blamed him? No. I wouldn't have blamed him. It was totally legal if he went there. If he had gone that route, it would have been fine. No one would have blamed him. No one would have thought less of him. And again, playing devil's advocate, I do have to admit, despite the stupidity, it is kind of impressive that a 72-year-old man can handle two ladies like this simultaneously. I'll give him points for that one, okay? It's not big points, but you gotta admire that. But seriously, he could have did this so much better. All 100 of these idiots could have did this shit infinitely better. Okay? I mean, isn't it, what about it like a sex party or something? You get a couple of your rich friends together, and it's like, hey, we're into the swing. Did we not learn anything from Roger Stone? He's a swinger. He was into that shit. They all got some kind of code of ethics and stuff, and it's like, you have my wife, I'll have this lady over here, and, we'll make a day of it. It's a mutual understanding that we all came here to fuck each other, and then when we're done, we just put our clothes back on, we have a nice brunch, and then we go home and we go about our business. And then it's like, hey, we're kicking back, and it's like, damn, that was a really good orgy. Or whatever it is that they do with these things. There's so many ways this could have been done. What about that fucking love contract shit? Yeah. In the early 2000s, you had like these little contracts, and it was like, okay, the contract says this is what you want, this is what I want, this is what you cannot do to me, and this is what I do not want you doing to me. And you just sign it, and you fill it out, and there's like all the terms and conditions, and then, it's like, okay, we figured it all out, so, let's go. Whatever happened to that? There's so many ways that he could have resolved this. There's so many ways. There's so many legal routes that he could have gotten to take. That he should have chose. That were right fucking there in front of him. And what does he choose? I can't say it enough. A janky-ass day spa in a janky-ass strip mall. I can't. I just... What the fuck was he thinking? And it's not like he couldn't afford the high-priced call girls. Man's a billionaire. He's worth $6 billion. He could have found a way to write that shit off. What does he do? He gives $100 to 2 Asian women who are slaves and are living in the building with the hot plates and sleeping on the massage tables. Could you be any more of an idiot, Bob Kraft? I'm asking. I'm asking for real. How is it that you have somebody that can be that horny and that turned on do some of the stupidest shit? It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. I know more about this stuff than he does, and I don't even do it. It's just stuff that I hear from certain sources and asking general questions. Like, hey, is this a thing that exists? The answer is either yes or no, or maybe sometimes. You know, I do my research on this stuff because I find it interesting. Why couldn't he have done that? What is so hard with that? Why are people doing the stupidest shit ever just to satisfy the most basic of needs? I really don't understand it. It's like that one guy who actually shoved a battery up his nose and then sued the company that made the battery because there was no instructions that said not to shove the battery up his nose. And the bitch won. He actually won that. As for Bob Kraft, no, I don't see him winning this. There is no winning. They have him on camera. They have the fuckwad on camera. Boffin. Sexual favors from 2 women. No. I cannot deal with this. I honestly can't. Let it be a lesson to you guys. If you legitimately want to go to an actual legitimate day spa, there are actual places that are actual day spas that you should actually go to. If you want a little nookie on the side and you feel like paying for it, there are actual legitimate brothels, not many, that you can go to solve that. They don't come cheap. You might need to bring a credit card and maybe some cash. Okay? Seriously. Alright? And the last thing I can think of, and this is, again, something I wouldn't do, but you might, friends with benefits. Alright? It's like, hey, you've got a friend. The friend thinks you're hot, but doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. You think the friend's hot, and you don't want to be in a relationship with them, so it's like, okay, how do we resolve this? We just have sex, no strings attached. You know, we meet up in a place, and then it's like, okay, we get naked, we do the horizontal shuffle, or the Texas two-step, or whatever other type of positions they have, and then you get it out of your system, and it's like, okay, I'll see you next week. Hey, do you want to catch a movie with Greg and Kim? And I'd be like, sure, why not, homie? We can do that. You're like, cool. Then you give yourself a nice high five, and you move on. Or something like that. I don't even know how that actually works, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than what Bob Kraft did. Anything that Bob Kraft could have done to resolve his sexual urges and get his rocks off. There's so many avenues, man. There's so many fucking avenues. And he chooses the cheapest, worst, jankiest, nastiest, highly illegal route ever. Mr. Kraft, if you are listening to this, which I highly doubt because I don't know if you're on Twitter, and quite frankly, I don't want to send this to you. I really don't. But if somehow you or your assistants should find their way to this podcast, I'm going to tell you right fucking now, right fucking here, for the love of God, please, never ever do what you did again. If you are still the owner of the Patriots after all of this, if you are still part of the NFL after all of this, for the love of God, celebrate the legal way. Please don't do this again. Okay? Seriously. You are not untouchable, sir. You can have as much money beyond the dreams of avarice. You're still subject to law. Okay? Just know. And that goes the same for the rest of you guys. And gals. This applies to both genders, or gender identities. I don't know what your deal is, but just don't do this shit illegally. Go the legal route all the time, every time, always. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys, I think you're smart enough to understand what I'm trying to say here. Because you're listening to this, I say fuck a lot, and you're okay with that, and everybody's cool. And that, my friends, is all I have to say about this. If you want to listen to the past episodes, you can catch them here on Anchor.fm. And my podcast is available wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Spotify, iTunes. Yes, they let me on iTunes. I can't believe it. That's a thing that actually happened. I'm on Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and about several others that aren't coming to mind right now. If you're watching the video version of this, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. You can also find this on Twitch at twitch.tv/GodOfKnockers. It was GodOfKnockers, and it was real nice talking to you. Laters. Put your hands up,